Tonight we are very honored to have with us distinguished speakers who will speak about the issue of violence against women in conflict around the world from their own perspectives and experiences. The moderator of our panel tonight is Ms. Aminata Toure, Chief of Gender, Human Rights and Culture Branch, United Nations Population Fund. His Excellency Mr. Ivan Barbolic from the Permanent Mission of Bosnia and Herzegovina to the United Nations. Ms. Anissa Slčinović, survivor from Bosnia and an amazing agent of change. And Ms. Andy Gito from UNTV, producer of the film we're about to see tonight.
Ja sam Bosanka, muslimanka, koja je preživjela seksualno nasilje tokom rata u Bosni i Hercegovini, ali ja sam ovdje da govorim u ime svih žena koje su preživjele seksualno nasilje u vrijeme rata, bez obzira na rasu, etničku pripadnost, boju kože, vjerovanje, dob ili nacionalnost.
I'm a Bosnian, a Muslim, a survivor of sexual violence during the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But I'm here to speak on behalf of all the women survivors of sexual violence in the wartime, regardless of race, ethnicity, color, age, or nationality. I would like to especially express my gratitude to UNFPA for their efforts in advancing this issue in Bosnia and Herzegovina and for actually being the only international organization which has managed, in collaboration with Bosnia and Herzegovina authorities, to produce concrete results and gave hope to victims in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
It's very moving and touching film. Thousands of women in Bosnia and Herzegovina are still paying the price in trying to cope with all the effects of violence that were perpetrated against them. This was the most costly war, actually, in Europe in terms of human life in more than half a century. When the war was over, actually, the rape camp became an international scandal when the world discovered it. Prompted the international community to label such brutal experience as war crime. And that was the first time in regional tribunal. And then in 1998, Rome Statute that created the International Criminal Court. That was the very first time. In a landmark verdict by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, sentences were handed down in 2001 to 3 Serbs who were the first ever based solely on crime of sexual violence against women, as well as the first to recognize that gender-based violence is a crime against humanity.
Dear friends, for me it's possible tonight to speak in the capacity of ambassador. I can only speak in capacity of a citizen of my country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and as a human being. And even though it did prepare a speech, I think it makes no sense to read the speech. I think that all that has to be said has already been said. With strong words and more than words by Ms. Slčinović.
The film you saw tonight is part of the broadcast news magazine series 21st Century, which is produced by UN Television and shown in more than 60 countries to an audience in the tens of millions. The series puts a spotlight on critical issues affecting the world today, and we believe it is an essential part of the series and our mission to highlight human rights violations against women worldwide.
If we don't have any further comments, I'd like to thank our panelists. Lisa, thank you very much for sharing your story, and I hope, Andy, that we will have much more of these stories out there in many places. I mean, the place I know best, which is where I come from, which is Africa. Even in regular time, women don't speak much. And traditionally, you don't raise your voice, let alone when you have been raped. So for those women who come out and talk about their story, I mean, it's a huge, huge, huge step forward. And we need to hear the voices of the victims. When we discuss in the Security Council, we hear the state's voices, we hear the NGOs, we barely hear the victim voices. And I think they are powerful voices because nobody can tell what needs to be done better than they would do it. So thank you very much, Anita. We wish you hope and success with your organization because I believe by getting together you become much more powerful. And I hope that we'll help these thousands of women out there to heal together. Because I think that's an important aspect of what we have seen. When they came together, I think the healing process might be faster. So thank you very much, Mr. Matele, for being here with us. And thank you to all of you for coming.
Yeah, this film's really important for giving a voice to the survivor. So we often don't see the face, we don't hear the story of survivors of gender-based violence, of survivors of rape, of survivors of domestic violence. So that's why this piece is really important, that we can relate to the survivor as a person.
What was the outcome?
Outcome of all of this, like photo exhibition, the broadcast of the film, and the launching of the report, was that finally, 16 years after war has ended in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the government of Bosnia and Herzegovina, together with UNFPA, is working on a strategy for the women victims of sexual violence in war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So the final draft is expected in June this year, and we hope it will pass in parliament procedure, and that finally 16 years after the war these women will get their rights.
My name is Patty, and I think there's nothing more powerful than a human story to bring our attention to an issue. When you hear about an issue, it's incredibly daunting to feel like you could do something about it. And if you hear one story, like Anissa's, it really touches you profoundly.
My name is Rachel, and I was very honored to be present here and to hear Anissa's story, and I really thank her for her courage and her strength, and I'm very grateful that people like Andy Gatau are making, and the UN are making these kind of films and spreading this word and this message.
And as I sat here tonight, I thought about what I do for a living and how it doesn't make much of a difference in the big scheme of things. I'm very grateful that she and organizations like this are doing the kind of work and giving us the opportunity to at least understand the issues a little bit better. If we can't participate directly, at least we can understand, and maybe that's some small improvement.